And here we go with part one of today's Local 6 Legal Line, entertaining the attorneys from the Bryant Law Center, Paducah, Mayfield, and Louisville. And first up, it's the Honorable Mark Bryant. We are talking about personal injury. Got questions? We got a number, 1-888-208-6946. Before we get into those, Mark, let's talk about something that I think may be confusing to a lot of people, and that is the statute of limitations. Does that differ from case to case, or is it pretty much the same? Explain that for us.
Let me just tell you, Dave, the statute of limitations is hugely important because it's the amount of time that you're allowed to file a lawsuit or else forget about it on, for example, a personal injury, a medical malpractice case, a car wreck case, wrongful death case, and all those statutes are different. But I'll tell you, but it's important that you know this because you can't believe how many phone calls we get from people that were injured in something and they just thought, well, they'd get around to it one of these days, and when they call, the statute of limitations is run and they can't do anything about it. So the statute of limitations in a car accident, for example, or a trucking accident is 2 years with bodily injury. But if there's a wrongful death, it's just 1 year. And so the safest thing you can do is if you've been injured, medical malpractice case, personal injury case, car wreck, truck wreck, motorcycle accident, call a lawyer, because the best thing you can possibly do is don't miss the statute of limitations, and we always try to get the case filed, if we have to file it at all, within 1 year, so there's not any issue about statute of limitations.
We have a question from Mark who says, why do I need to have underinsured or uninsured coverage on my car? If we have an accident and I'm insured, does it matter if the other guy is or not?
Well, let me tell you, it does matter, because here's the deal. The law in Kentucky is that the only insurance you have to have is $25,000 worth of insurance. We see cases often now where there's a $900,000 in medicals or $1 million in medical expenses and no insurance, or very little. If the other party has $25,000 and you have a tremendous amount of injuries, you need to have your underinsured, because he is insured, he just doesn't have enough for you. Or if the other party doesn't have insurance, which even though it's against the law in Kentucky for that, you need to be sure that you've got plenty of uninsured motorist coverage. And I'm telling you, if you can afford it, you need to get the most of that you can.
Got about a minute left in our first segment of today's Local 6 Legal Line, and PIP coverage. Can you explain what PIP coverage is on the auto policy? My insurance agent is advising me that I increase that coverage, but I don't know what it is, says an anonymous viewer.
Well, let me tell you, personal injury protection coverage, it's also known as PIP coverage. Routinely, you go to get your automobile insurance and they give you $10,000, and that is to pay for medical expenses or lost wages while you're awaiting whatever is going to happen. You're going to get that you get that if you're in an automobile accident. But I have to tell you, for very little more money, you can get, well, for example, I got $70,000 in PIP coverage, which my insurance adjuster or agent told me that was the maximum I could get. And I think it might have cost me $50 more to do that. I think as a whole that insurance agents don't tell you about that for whatever reason. They always just give you $10,000. So you need to go to your insurance agent, tell them you want more PIP coverage, it doesn't cost money. Tell them you want more underinsured coverage. Tell them you want more uninsured coverage, because if you're in a wreck, you've got to have that kind of money or you're in real trouble.
The Honorable Mark Bryant has been our guest on part one of today's Local 6 Legal Line from the Bryant Law Firm in Paducah, Mayfield, and Louisville. 3 locations now to serve you. And good news is, if you have questions, we've got part 2 coming up, and we're going to switch out one good attorney from another, as Kevin Shannon will take the seat coming up. Stay tuned. Part 2 of Legal Line straight ahead on Local 6 Midday.